Mr. President, I rise along with Senator Burr to urge our colleagues to support the confirmation of Professor Richard Myers to serve as the District Court Judge for the Eastern District of North Carolina. President Trump has nominated an eminently qualified and principled individual to serve in the Eastern District. In his career, Professor Myers has worked as a journalist, a prosecutor, and as a professor. Each step Professor Myers has taken in his professional career has prepared him for this role. From the newsroom to the courtroom to the classroom, Professor Myers has shown his commitment to the principles of truth, justice, and of wisdom. I cannot imagine a more solid foundation upon which to place the responsibility of a district court judgeship than those of Professor Myers, which he's exhibited throughout his career. Professor Myers is a first-generation college graduate who has close ties to Wilmington, where he has chosen to locate his chambers. Once confirmed, Professor Myers will hold court in Wilmington, the same city where he was raised, where he went to college, and where he was a journalist. North Carolinians are lucky to have someone like Professor Myers with his caliber and his sense of duty to represent us in the Eastern District of North Carolina. I urge all of my colleagues to vote for Judge Myers, or soon-to-be Judge Myers' confirmation when it comes up later today. And I yield the floor.
Senator from North Carolina.
Mr. President, I also rise today to voice my strong support for the President's nomination of Professor Richard Myers to serve as a judge in the Eastern District of North Carolina. I might add for my colleagues, the longest court vacancy in the history of our court system. Professor Myers was reported out of committee on a strong bipartisan vote on October 31st, and I'm pleased that the Senate will today consider his nomination. I want to give my colleagues some additional insight into a man that we're asking them to vote on and that goes beyond his stellar legal credentials. The first thing I want my colleagues to know is that Professor Myers embodies a work ethic and diligence that we deserve in all our judges. As an immigrant of Kingston, Jamaica, Professor Myers was the first-generation college student in his family. He worked his way through his undergraduate degree at the University of Wilmington, and after college, pursued a career in journalism. He worked for the Wilmington Morning Star, and it was his investigative reporting that gave him the desire to earn his law degree. He graduated magna cum laude at the University of North Carolina Law School and began a legal career as a clerk for Judge David Santel of the D.C. District Court of Appeals. Second, Professor Myers will be a judge who understands the value of public service. Having made a career change from practicing at a prestigious private firm to contributing to our nation's justice system following the attacks of September the 11th, 2001. He said that his change in career, and I quote him, was something I felt that I could do and that I owed the country that had been really good to my family, unquote. He did this first in the Central District of California and then in the Eastern District of North Carolina. Professor Myers then took a different path of service at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, instructing the next generation of lawyers to be people, in his own words, and I quote, "do the right thing every day," unquote. If confirmed, Professor Myers will serve on the Eastern District of North Carolina and, as Senator Tillis said, will hold court in Wilmington. Ironically, this court is currently meeting in the building that once housed the Wilmington Morning Star, his first job as a reporter. However, when considering Professor Myers' story, it seems fitting that someone with the character, work ethic, and servant's approach to life will be returning to the building of his first post-college job wearing a robe of a federal judge. I have faith in Professor Myers' ability to do the right thing every day in this critically important role, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak on his behalf to our colleagues. This is a well-deserving and will be an incredibly effective serving judge in our district court system. I urge my colleagues to support him unanimously. I yield the floor.